Shawn Bolz ministry, giving back donations and tithes paid to them, at least in my case. In light of the recent scandals around ministries such as Shawn Bolz, who was found to be a false prophet, or also Daystar, as Laura Lynn Thompson has exposed a lot of the shenanigans, let's say, that are going on there, and people who have contributed greatly to their ministries or television programs are now demanding their money back. Well, I wouldn't even have thought of asking back my money had I not watched Laura Lynn Thompson's. Well, I wouldn't even have thought of asking my donations back had I not watched Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson's really in-depth explorations of what's happened at Daystar. And in her recent video, she exposes how some donors for Daystar have asked for their money back. Well, apparently some donors did get their money back, but others did not. And Laura Lynn showed the response email they got in response to having been refused their request to receive back their donations and tithes.
If we give you back your donation, we're giving you a gift. And although we have done it many, many times already in the last few months, you've given a lot of dollars back. We've heard from people that you did. You're saying you don't want to gift this person.
Well, it is for that reason, watching her exploration on YouTube of Daystar, that I thought, why not ask back for the money I had donated to Shawn Bolz Ministries before it came out, or before I became aware what fraudulent prophet he apparently seems to be. And it irked me. I had given a substantial amount, and now it was shown that he made prophecies off stage that were actually obtained from him hacking in or tapping into people's private social media, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth, and then calling, is there a such and such in the crowd? And the crowd would be astonished because yes, indeed there was. And not only did Shawn Bolz miraculously know their name, but intimate details of their family, their work, and so on and so forth, all obtained from him, increasingly boldly so, just scrolling through social media while on stage and basically reading off Facebook. And more than that, a lot of people believing that he was a prophet of God, which he pretended to be, and that was enabled by some of the other great ministries where he spoke. And these ministries never questioned him, even when it became apparent that he was fraudulent, never made the audiences aware of what was going on with Shawn Bolz's ministry. And so people would act on Shawn Bolz's predictions because after all, he knew their name or intimate details of their lives, friendship, fiancés. And then boldly, Bolz would say, God wants you to get married. This one famous case of a young girl who was seeing a guy that she wasn't going to get married to, but believing that Shawn Bolz was the prophet of God and that he had heard from God that she should marry this guy, she went ahead and married him. Well, he was extremely abusive from the get-go, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Twice, she almost escaped death. Twice, he strangled her and she almost died at the hands of this man that Shawn Bolz falsely told her God wanted her to marry. And she stayed in this marriage much longer than she ever should have. She should not even have married this guy to begin with. And finally, with trepidation, because she thought it's God's will that I'm married to this guy, but after the second almost death experience at the hands of her abusive husband, she did muster the courage and leave. Other people have been told to move across country, to take up certain jobs, all kinds of predictions as to what God, according to Shawn Bolz, was prophesying over their life. All false, fraudulent, and misleading. So this is a channel on prosperity and wealth creation. As a Christian, I'm a tither, and in fact, during the years I was tithing faithfully, I had unexpected financial situations happening to me in my favor. And I'm not saying God is a slot machine, but there are certain principles, there are spiritual principles, just as there are physical principles. The law of gravity works for someone who's a believer or non-believer. That is why a lot of the manifestation gurus nowadays all say to give, to be a generous giver. But really, it comes from the Bible. And while all kinds of giving, of course, and charitable giving is wonderful, when it comes to tithing in particular, it's important where to give. After about 10 years of tithing back in Los Angeles, I stopped because I couldn't find a church to tithe that I felt really comfortable in, because the one I had given a lot of donations to was Angelus Temple, or the Dream Center, as you may know it. And I found increasingly that there were irregularities, that there were certain things that didn't sit right with me at all. And at that time, I lived just about the corner, around the corner of the Dream Center, and could witness firsthand what I considered some of the abuses. So I stopped tithing. My financial future at that time slowly took a downturn. It became harder. Life became harder for me. And once in a while it popped into my mind I should tithe again, but I couldn't find the proper place to tithe, one that I could trust. So I started giving to online churches. And when I came to Miami, I found a church, because it's important to support your local churches, but I felt like these online churches, in the age of the internet, everyone watches church, if you will, online, or religious Christian broadcasts online, and why not support them? For that reason, I supported Shawn Bolz. Then these allegations came out that I'm now pretty much proven of his fraudulent conduct as a prophet and as a false prophet. In addition, I saw him interview this particular prophetess, she calls herself, just recently. And I was taken aback because she seemed like possessed, in my opinion, just by looking at her and the way she spoke. I did a little research. She is beholden to some kind of African witch doctor cult leader, and most certainly does not represent true Christian values. But here was Shawn Bolz giving her visibility and credibility online by interviewing her as though she was a true Christian prophetess. So now I felt let down once again. I had hesitated for so long to support churches with my tithes, yet I knew it's God's will to support His word and to spread the gospel, the good news of salvation across the world. But there I had been let down by Shawn Bolz. Well, for this and other reasons, I'm very interested in what Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson is doing, exposing Daystar. So when I saw that many people had requested refunds from Daystar, I thought, why not ask Shawn Bolz? Surely, I thought, I will also get a rejection email, just as the people that had requested that from Daystar received. To my surprise, 2 days after I requested a refund, on grounds, I wrote a very sharp email on the grounds of misleading, fraudulent conduct, and that my tithes were meant for God's church, but since he's not God's church, it's not his, and that this money belongs to God's church. Perhaps because of the wording of my short but very hard-hitting email, I received an email back saying that yes, they will refund my donations. So I'm waiting for that to hit my bank account, and then I will donate it again to the right church. And perhaps a local church is mostly the best option in many cases, unless you live somewhere outside and really only get your Christian community online. So I know it's a bit of an unusual video for this channel, but it is about wealth creation, and wealth creation in the Christian mindset. And in another video I spoke about, is a manifestation, visualization really Christian? And you can watch that. Just a quick sum up. Yes, it is just like charitable giving that non-Christians use for great profit to them because it's a law. So is manifestation, which is truly a belief in seeing that which is not yet, which is part of the principles the Bible tells us. And visualization is as well a part that is often practiced in the Bible. Even visualization is part of the Bible, such as Jacob putting the striped reeds in front of the cattle because his uncle Laban, who was deceptive, thought there are not many striped cattle, and so you, Jacob, get all the striped ones. So Jacob, who was always very kind of knew his way around different, was very ingenious always, he put up striped reeds in front of the watering trough where the cattle were drinking water. Well, lo and behold, all the offspring was striped, and so they belonged to him. So then his uncle Laban said, oh no, this time we are reversing it. This time you only get the spotted ones, and the striped ones belong to me. So Jacob, again, very kind of shrewd, put reeds up that had spotted patterns in the watering trough where the cattle was drinking. And the next season, all the offspring was spotted because that's what the cattle saw. So it's very a part of the Bible, visualization, manifestation, believing and thinking upon those things that are not yet as though they were. But it has been borrowed by New Age, and the problem is they make self, your own self, God. Where in the Bible, those same principles are, of course, practiced, but God is the center of our faith, not self, not our own mind. But so you can watch out for these principles that are in the Bible, and then often, wrongly so, are dismissed as part and parcel of New Age, when in fact they are part of the Bible when rightly used with God in the center. So the same with tithing. everyone from Susie Orman to your New Age guru is saying you have to give charitably, and the more you give, the more comes back to you. But really it is part of the Judeo-Christian tradition and the Bible that says, test me now on this, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out my blessings and financial prosperity on you if you obey me in tithing. It is believing that God is the ultimate provider. Yes, it is supporting His word, His church, His movement, His gospel. But more than that, it is the realization that He, not ourselves, are the providers. So if someone like Shawn Bolz or Daystar Ministries obtain these finances under false pretenses, it is up to God, of course, to correct the evil. Maybe not immediately, but long term. But in the meantime, we can ask for our money back, because that money belongs to God's church, and then donate that money to reputable sources. So let it be part of your wealth creation journey. And even though we did a little bit of a different direction today, I hope it helps you understand the principles of wealth creation. So what happens to Shawn Bolz, Daystar, and perhaps many other ministries that have recently been found out to be operating under fraudulent or abusive circumstances? It is, as many are saying, God's way of cleaning house, surely so, like He was overturning the tables in front of the temple of the money changers. But it's also our responsibility to step up and know that our finances are indeed supporting God's mission and not some hucksters or fraudulent or fake profit. Where are you donating? Are you donating charitably? Are you tithing? What is your experience with being charitable or tithing? To me, one charitable giving is very, very important, is animals. I love animals, and I know God loves the animals. What are some of your favorite charities? In the meantime, underneath the video, there are a couple of free resources for you in terms of expanding your wealth consciousness, your wealth creation journey. See you soon. Bye. We're absolutely willing to refund you. Our accountant is working on it right now. Please give it a few business days to go through and reach out to us again if you don't see it come through. We understand your disappointment and concerns about Shawn if you're only looking at one side of it. Of course, the one side is the side we've all seen, that he cheated and made out to be a prophet when in reality he read off of social media accounts. We actually have refuted the allegations. Please see our website where we have made a statement. Be so blessed, and again, reach out if it doesn't go through soon. So the statement that they made, I don't see any valid refutation of the accusation of falsehood and faking being a prophet of God, when in reality he was actually deceitful. And so I'm hoping that other people might as well ask for refunds from ministries that are outright deceptive, because that's money that is owed to God's church, not to deceitful prophets. And also it's a way to publicly declare that they have been found out, that we are not, as God's church, willing to go along with that. So I'm surprised that they did return it. I acknowledge them for that.